Hello everyone, so we are moving on to days number 60, 64, 65, and 66. It's going to be for March 5th, 6th, and 7th. In the last 3 days, we contemplated gratitude and greed, and we will be going into ignorance at one point, but for now we're going to do kind of a transition. So we spoke about how greed is about not being satisfied. So you could have absolutely nothing and be unsatisfied, and you can have everything you ever wanted and still be unsatisfied. So this is greed. It's to just be unsatisfied and not be grateful for what is just right in front of you. There is a concept that everything that you have right now is exactly what you need to do what you need to do right now. And it's not very obvious because we are so used to planning ahead for months or years even, and you should keep doing that because it's the wise thing to do. But when you are so attached and you want to have so much control over your the next few years of your life, that's when it causes suffering. It's when we take for granted that we have all of these things, or we take for granted that whenever we really needed something, it was right there. Somehow we had it. And the proof is that you're still alive right now. You still have a roof over your head of some sort. You are able to obviously connect to the internet because you are watching this video. You have the ability to eat every day. You have a job or not. You have friends. You have family. You have stuff in your life that you take for granted every single day. And so greed is to take for granted what you have right now. So maybe you have $5 to your name and you're not sure if you're going to eat tomorrow, but you ate today and you had enough money exactly for today. And will you have it tomorrow? I don't know, and you don't know either, but you had enough every other day of your life. And whenever you thought you didn't have enough, it was because you were unsatisfied with what you had. Consider that the only thing that you need is some kind of shelter. You need some kind of food at some point. Obviously, you need to drink water. You need to be able to breathe, and you need to have food. You need to have clothing on your back. And right now, in this moment, you have had all of that, or you still have all of that. Therefore, you have everything you need. If you have $0 right now, you don't need it right now. Tomorrow, perhaps you will need it. So find a way to get it. So greed is to just be unsatisfied, completely unsatisfied or a little bit unsatisfied. Whenever you find that you complain about something, that someone talks too loud, or someone chews with their mouth open, or someone just farted, or that person doesn't wear deodorant, or this person just talks too much, and or the government is corrupt, and whatever you can possibly complain about, you're greedy because you cannot be satisfied with what you have right now. And right now, everything you have is exactly what you need to get through the experience and to learn something, to gain wisdom from it, to just be able to survive. Whatever you have right now is exactly enough, and it's not easy to be grateful for that. It really is not. And I may be speaking these words and making it sound like it's so easy, but I know it's not. I get that. I really understand that. But look at yourself and look at how much you judge the world around you, and how much you blame society, how much you blame your employer, your family, your lover for stuff that you don't have. If you don't have enough attention, it's not your lover's fault. It's because you're just unsatisfied and you can't appreciate what your lover can give you right now. If you continue to be unsatisfied even after you communicate with your lover, if you speak with them, say, hey, is it possible if you could rub my back once in a while? Or could you cook me a meal once in a while? Or whatever. You have to talk to the people. You can't just assume that they're going to read your mind and give you everything that you want. So if your relationship is not working and you are unsatisfied, then you are responsible to communicate what you really want, how you feel. Don't blame the other person. It's not their fault. It's your responsibility to ensure that you are taken care of. And it doesn't mean if this lover is not working, find another lover. It means find it in yourself so you can accept when the lover is going to give you attention, when the lover is going to cook you the meal, when the lover is going to rub your back. You can actually appreciate it. So I guess that was just a little side note on relationships and such. But it does tie into the whole greed thing. When we're in a relationship, we just want stuff from the other person in the relationship. We are so happy to give to the other person if they give to us. But if they don't give to us, we don't really want to give anything to them. So gratitude in this case comes from when you can just accept that, yeah, maybe they are just willing, your significant other is just there to watch a movie with you once a week. Other than that, you go about your lives, you don't really talk much. But that one night a week is still something. It's more than you would have if you were not with this person. So do you take it for granted? Do you say, well, it's not really what I want, so I don't want anything at all? What's your reaction to it? Can you really appreciate what is right in front of you, or do you take it for granted because you want something else? You want something specifically to the exact thing that you want, and nothing can be different from that. It's like when you wake up in the morning and it's snowing again, it's too freaking cold, the car won't start, the radio isn't playing the good songs, the heater doesn't hurry up and heat fast enough in the car. I mean, and so your whole day is ruined. What makes your day enjoyable or not? Do you take for granted the fact that you had a cup of coffee and maybe everything else is not really what you want, but you had your cup of coffee? Do you even consider that you could be grateful for that cup of coffee when everything else is not really going exactly the way you want? Could you be grateful? Usually people are not. That's just how things tend to be. So find in your life where you judge your source of satisfaction. Does it come from the outside? Pretty much always it does. And it doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It just means you're still learning. We're all still learning. Nobody is an exception to this. We're all still learning. We're here because that's the purpose, to learn. It's to gain some kind of wisdom, to evolve, to grow from this. We're not just put here on this earth to just sit around and watch things. We have to, societies in all of time, you have to work to evolve. You have to work to manage your things. You have to work to survive. You can't just sit and do nothing, and because you will die. That's how nature is. So in your relationships with your lovers, with your family, with your job, with yourself, do you take for granted everything that you are given? So when you were a small child, your parents cared for you, or some sort of guardian cared for you to the best that they were able. And at one point, you turned into a teenager and you got rebellious and you said you want to do it all on your own. And you thought that your parents or your guardians were devil spawns, and you just wanted to be away from them so much they were, like diseased or something. And eventually you grew up and you realized that, oh shit, they really had some good advice. Okay, let's try it out. So we go through this point where we just take everything from our parents because we don't know how to provide for ourselves. And then we try to do it on our own because we're like, all right, I'm grown now. I'm an adult. I'm 18. I can do everything on my own. I don't need mom and dad anymore. And really, it's like us jumping from the nest. We don't really know exactly what we're supposed to be doing or how to do it, but this is how we learn. This is how we grow. And so we don't want help from our parents. We don't want help from any kind of authority. And we go out in the world and we figure it out. And by doing that, we reject the sources of love and care that we once had. And most people, when they're 18, they actually still have this care. They still have their parents and guardians looking out for them because in the parents' minds, you're all still children. Even when you're grown adults, you have your own families, your parents will still consider you children, or, you're my little baby, and you're, 45 years old. So it's just a matter of perspective. But as you grow older, you learn that, okay, you took for granted the fact that your parents would always be there, and you yelled at your parents, you rebelled against them, and yet you still ate the food they provided, and you still slept in the bed that they bought you, and you wear the clothes they bought you, and you still take from them. So it's not that this is evil. It's just we don't know any better. So we have to go through these aspects of our lives. But when we become adults and we still do this. We still think that it's the outside that is always going to provide for us. Mom and dad, in some way, is always going to be there for us. And we take for granted that society is supposed to take care of us. Well, we are the ones that make up society. So are you going to be a part of society, or are you going to reject all of society and separate yourself from them? One of the things, I'm not really big into politics or anything, but one of the things that I've observed is that many people, it doesn't matter who is the president is always rejected by a good amount of people. And you see about it on Facebook, in the newspapers, on the news, on TV, over on YouTube. You see all these kinds of things where people are just rejecting the government. Well, if you think you can do better, then get off your ass, go to college, become whatever you need to do, and do a better job. Instead of just criticizing the person who is running an entire country. And I sure as hell wouldn't want that job. Hell no. I am so happy that there is a president right now who is able to dictate these kind of things, who can have relations with the other countries, so we are not at war all the time. And we are doing a really fucking good job compared to just a few hundred years ago. And then, a few thousand years ago, where pretty much the entire planet was at war. We're pretty good. We are really pretty good. So, where do you judge and where do you take for granted that you have a roof over your head? Yeah, maybe you have to pay more taxes because of whatever reason, but hey, you still have a roof over your head. You still eat every day. You still are able to take care of your kids somehow. You're still able to do the things that you want somehow. And that all goes to waste because you're so projecting on society and the government and how the country is run that you forget what you have right in front of you. So one of the things that I was contemplating a few years ago was when people were saying, I am the 1%, I am the 99%, whatever. I was a waitress. I worked 4 days a week. And I made waitresses, we make just over $2 an hour, and we rely on tips in most places. So one of the things that I was faced with constantly is I never had a paycheck because I always made pretty decent money in tips. And I claimed everything. So my paychecks would usually be $0. So I never had a paycheck. but I always had the money that I made that day. So that day I could eat, and that day I could pay my cell phone bill, and the next time I worked I could pay my electric bill, and then the next time I worked I could put some of that aside for rent. And so I never expected the guests to pay my bills. I never expected the government to reimburse me for not making enough. I never expected to have special benefits because I was one of the many people who don't make a whole lot of money. I never expected this. I always said, okay, if I'm not making enough money, I have to go and find it. And if I can't find it, that's my problem, because there are opportunities out there. I can walk a dog, I can babysit, I can do so many other things. It was my own laziness and not wanting to be responsible for myself that put me in certain living situations. So if you are complaining and unsatisfied with your living situations or with your financial situation, look at how much you take for granted every single day in your life. The moment you can start to live in a state of gratitude, everything will just come to you because you're so happy to have it. So yeah, let's fucking have it. Let's have it all. And you just have it. But every time all the moments that you spend in a state of greed and being unsatisfied and taking for granted, it's like the universe says, well, you're not really wanting it, I guess, so you're not gonna have it. Okay, then fine, you won't have it. And this is how it works. So you create in your life everything. Everything that you have right now, everything that you will have in the future, everything you had in the past, you created it for yourself. So go into the state of gratitude, and yeah, you're gonna be unsatisfied many other times in your life, and it's okay. It doesn't mean you're going to have less. It just means you're still learning, and you're gonna be grateful in your life too because you pay attention to it. It's the only way to get yourself in that state of being is to pay attention to it. So it's like when you think, okay, I'm going to see red cars, and the whole day you see hundreds of red cars everywhere. It's because you paid attention to red car, red car, red car, red car, red car, and now they're everywhere. Well, pay attention to gratitude, 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 and really focus on it and create that for yourself, and everything will just come to you. Do your best to not complain. If you feel like you're going to complain or if you're unsatisfied, don't say it out loud. When you say things, it makes it more powerful. So when you are in a conversation with someone and they start complaining about it, instead of going into the drama and also complaining, you can say, well, I don't really agree with your point of view, but I respect it. And then what else do they say? They could keep going on and on and on, or you could just say, I'm done, I'm out, I don't really want to talk about this, you know. And maybe you have your complaints, maybe you have your life trials, and you really do feel like you don't have enough, or you feel like you're a loser, or whatever the case may be. People do feel like this. We all feel like this at one point or another. So when you feel like this, be like, okay, yeah, maybe I feel like that right now, but I'm going to choose to go in a state of gratitude, and I'm going to choose to really not forget about my trial, but I'm going to focus on gratitude. So even though I'm living my trial and I'm going through a really hard time, I'm still going to focus on gratitude, because right now I have everything I need. I can breathe, I'm living, I'm alive, I have friends, I can call people and talk to them, I've got video games, I got movies, I got entertainment, I'm good. So find that balance between gratitude and being unsatisfied. It's okay to be unsatisfied. It makes us want to go and do more and be more efficient and have more things, and you should. But when you're all the way on the unsatisfied side, then that's where life just says, okay, well, if you're unsatisfied, why would we keep giving to you? When you're grateful, that gratitude, that feeling like you appreciate everything that's manifesting in your life, more will just come to you. It's like in the relationship that I spoke about, when you feel like your lover is giving to you and you feel taken care of, you're so much more willing to give back. Well, how about first be willing to give? Be willing to give back, and then people will want to give to you. It goes in the same way. So I guess that's it. In the next 3 days, focus. I know I said a lot, and I know I spoke a lot in this one. So we are doing the transition in between greed and ignorance, but find where you judge yourself, because we so much want to just have everything, and we don't really want to do the work to get there. We would rather blame it on someone else and have someone else, society, mom and dad, our lovers, our friends. We would rather have them take care of our emotions, our well-being, our financial situation, ourselves, instead of just doing the work ourselves. And we are less empowered when we give all of the ability to provide to other people. So provide for yourself, provide for other people. It doesn't mean you have to give money to people if you don't have it. That's stupid. But maybe give your time, give advice, give give a smile. You have you right now, and that's enough for a lot of people. Most people don't even want your money. They just want someone to listen. They want someone to give advice. They want someone to just hang out with. They want someone to just confide in or tell a secret to or whatever. Most people, the relationship is not based on money. So if you don't think you have anything to give to anyone, try volunteering somewhere, at a homeless shelter or at a food bank, and give your time, give something, give of yourself. You always have something else to give. You always do. So any excuse that you have that, well, I have absolutely nothing, it's bullshit. You have a body, you have a voice, you have a mind, you have a personality, you have past experiences that you can transmit to other people if it would benefit them. You have life. So go and live that, share life with other people, and eventually people will just want to share with you because you give so much. People are just gonna be like, yeah, all right, I'm gonna give back too, and it goes like this. So the next 3 days, really work on that gratitude. You have to keep in mind some of that unsatisfaction and the greed, but really focus on that gratitude in the next 3 days. So you've got March 5th, 6th, and 7th. It's going to be days number 64, 65, and 66. Really focus on that gratitude. I know this is a little bit of a long video, and that's just how it is. So another thing I would like to add is the last few months, there have been quite a few of you who have stuck with it for the entire time, and I think that's really awesome. For those of you who have started, at one point into these 365 days, I'm glad you did. If any of you are able at all, it is completely an option. You are a free being. You do not have to spend money. If you don't have it, please don't. But if you've gotten anything or benefited from this in any way, please consider giving a bit of a donation. You can find a donation through PayPal on my blog. The blog is www.swahavairam.wordpress.com. You can find, if you're already on my blog, it's going to be on the right hand side. If you are viewing this from YouTube, you can go to my blog and find the link on the right hand side also. For those of you who are on YouTube, if you go in the comments section underneath the video, you will find my the web link to my blog, so you can just click on that. Again, donate something if you want, if you can. That's up to you. You are a free being. You are not in any way obligated to pay. And it could be a donation of your choice. So whatever feels good to you, that's completely up to you. And any questions, comments you may have, feel free to write to me through my blog on YouTube or Facebook. And I hope you enjoy the next 3 days. Remember, go in a state of gratitude. Give of yourself, even if you feel like you have nothing. Especially when you feel like you have nothing, find something. Give your time. Give a smile. Give a high five, a hug, something. You have so much and you don't even realize it. So give. And the more you give, the more you'll see that you already have. So gratitude the next 3 days, and I hope you enjoy it. And that's it. Have a lovely day. I'll see you next time.